Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below this video once it's rendered. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Sleeping Warrior, who of course is not presenting the screen I asked him to. Thank you very much, Sleeping Warrior. Good to have you.
Sorry, dude.
You take your time. Just stick it on the screen. There we go. Right, so we're also joined by The Plain Truth and Chocolate Saying. Good to have you both.
Shout out to AZFE Chick.
Good to have you, Travis. You there, Chocolate?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Good to have you. Okay, we're going to kick straight off with the reason for the title of the show. So, Flat Earth in Court. And Anthony's going to explain, hopefully without too much interruption, exactly why that title is bestowed upon this hangout or this debate. So, are you ready, Anthony?
Yeah.
Okay, take it away.
Okay, so you're all aware about the geo-whispering saga, right? So I'm going to play the clip really quickly just so that you're all familiar. Am I screen sharing sounds? Let me just check. Yeah, should be. This should work.
Wait, let me check it. Where was it? Further down, right?
Yeah, go back to that definition he says too.
So GeoStreamer asks, where was it? Further down, right? And then Sean responds immediately with, yeah. Soundly responds with, yeah, go back to that definition. That definition he cites too. My position is that is GeoStreamer with Soundly in some kind of background communication that is not part of the Hangout. That's it. That's the allegation. Now, since the allegation has happened, Sean's got involved to try and create muddy waters and create doubt. Sean's not interested in the truth. Sean, no matter what, will jeopardize everything in the name of trying to protect and prove some element of doubt to get his friend GeoStreamer off the hook. My position is that Sean is either incompetent, incapable, and lying. My reasons for that are simple. Sean is telling people, based on his interpretations of what he thinks he's looking at, that I'm playing I'm the one that's playing the music in the background, and it's actually me that's talking with Soundly, and it by absolute coincidence, Soundly just so happens to say something that makes it sound like it's a coherent back and forth between him and Geo. It's not the crime of the world. It's not the biggest crime in the flat Earth. We all know that. But since the allegations happened and Sean started to get involved, the only thing that's happened is a straightforward GeoStreamer is guilty as sin for having a cheating hangout has become somewhat far more sinister. And all that's happened is Sean is telling people that it's me. Well, I don't speak with Soundly, so Soundly wasn't on the back of my microphone, and I wasn't having a hangout in the background. There was no hangout being played in my background. I was being a good little boy in the living room, probably with the dog who growled every now and again. That's it. But Sean won't take that because it means his mate's been found guilty. So Sean's upped the ante significantly. And what's happened is I asked for help because I wanted to know whether or not there was any way to prove which microphone played the sound. I presumed, because I'm not an audio guy, that I wouldn't be able to prove that my microphone didn't do something. I just presumed I might be able to prove which microphone did. Turns out, based on my ignorance, that I was wrong. Turns out that I can prove that my microphone did nothing, but I can also prove which microphone did do something. And I can also prove what that microphone did. So 2 people responded, and we've presented the results of the Hangout that they did their analysis in. And I'm just going to play clips from the Sean's analysis video so you can hear his position.
You can hear right there that some audio that's not Anthony cuts off as soon as Geo starts to talk. Anthony is the one playing my Hangout while he's talking to Geo. What a fucking twit.
So that's Sean's position. Oh, sorry, I forgot this bit.
Audio guy. Gotta love me.
So that's Sean's position, and it has been from day one, and he's never changed his position, right? He's doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down. And basically, people have come to me and said, look, we can help here, or I can help here. And I got 2 different people, neither of which know each other. Both came to me through basically me asking questions. And we all had the Hangout where we showed the analysis. Now, bear in mind that Sean said it was his Hangout. You can clearly state, you can see in this message that he says, as far as finding the Hangout in question, I can say with 100% certainty it was not one on my channel, after previously stating that it was one of his Hangouts. So obviously he's now recanted that. So now he's got to spread the net and go further. And he hasn't found the Hangout, and that was more than a month ago. By way of contrast, Sean gave me a random sentence that Nathan had said at some point in 450 Hangouts, and I found it in less than 24 hours, just to demonstrate that it could be done. To date, there has been no unicorn Hangout for Sean to prove GeoStreamer's innocence, but there has been an analysis done by 2 different people using 3 different programs that all show the same thing. And what they all show is that the microphone that played the sound is GeoStreamer's. It did not show that the background noise that Sean's amplified the shit out of to try and get something there when there's nothing there, it did not show that that was the sound that was being heard. So Sean then had a Hangout last night, which I will now take you to, which should be here. And what I'm going to do is take the snippets from the bulk of what's been said and condense it into a few moments and hopefully speed everything up. But listen to Sean's position now.
Like I've always said, if the background audio would have been picked up on Geo's mic and Geo's mic alone, I would absolutely be required, with no questions asked, that I would have to find that Hangout. Anthony and Nathan keep saying that the Hangout is the most important thing. No, if you find the cause of the audio being picked up and it's not Geo's microphone, it's actually not the most important thing.
Yeah. So he contradicts himself. He says that Anthony and Nathan are saying that the Hangout's the most important thing. Well, he also says that if we couldn't find if we couldn't prove which microphone played the noise, then finding that Hangout is absolutely imperative. Let's hear it again.
Like I've always said, if the background audio would have been picked up on Geo's mic and Geo's mic alone, I would absolutely be required, with no questions asked.
So he's admitting that if the microphone proves which noise came, if you can prove which microphone, then he has to find the Hangout. Well, that's still the position. He does have to find that Hangout because we can prove that the microphone noise came from Geo's mic. It did not come from mine. Now, I had a back and forth on Hangouts with Sean just prior to his Hangout from the other night. And this is what he said. The director of the AV lab, which holds a PhD in audio forensics, has watched my 3 videos, and let's just say I am way eager to have this pushed into a court with a nice countersuit against FE Core. I don't think Sean understands the difference between a body corporate and an individual. I don't know where FE Core's come into this, but well, I do. It's because Mike's got involved, and Sean, by association, has linked Mike to FE Core rather than Mike personally. So Sean thinks that because FE Core and Mike are linked, he thinks that he can go after FE Core. Well, good luck with that. But anyway, in any event, he seems to be focusing on FE Core. So here's some clips from the Hangout from the other night, and this basically is brilliant. So we're going to need a little bit of audience interaction towards the end. So listen to these clips, and then I'll tell you what I really want everybody to do at the end.
Anthony's either been misrepresenting, misunderstanding, or just buying hands down. And he's made many claims that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a fraud. I'm a liar. And he's come up with, if I didn't have proof of this Hangout, or if I didn't start a GoFundMe to go to an audio analysis firm, he was going to press on with a court case.
Yeah, because that's the basic position, Sean. You don't know what you're talking about. You are a liar and you are a fraud. At the very least, you are incompetent. How do I know that? Because I'm not relying on an interpretation and I've seen objective evidence that proves which microphone did it. And that also proves that you need to find that hangout, because without that, if we can pinpoint which microphone did it, yeah, you do need that hangout. So let's not forget, let's not lose sight. You do need the hangout.
Today, he was supposed to do a presentation on Nathan Oakley's show, but he called that a canceled thing because I informed Anthony that I'm not going to wait around for him to bluff his way out and to try to make me retract something that's not true. I'm going to go ahead and press forward with a legal case.
So he's talking about Mike in this instance. I don't know why he thinks that Mike is FE core, but nonetheless, he thinks that Mike is FE core and therefore he's going to press forward nonetheless. So I'm going to say at this point, Sean, do it. Really do it. If you think that you are right and that we are wrong and that you're stupid enough to go and do this legally, go and do it. I agree. I encourage you and I want to see you do it, because I'm going to call bullshit. I'm going to call bullshit because you've said that there was a hangout, that then you retracted and said that there wasn't one. You've also said that Gio said that it was my mic when it wasn't, it was Gio's. I'm calling bullshit, Sean. I think you are full of shit. I'm calling you bluff. You put your money where your mouth is now. Let's see if you chew, because you ain't going to do it. And even if you did, I encourage it because I want to see the truth. This is about who was playing what sound and whether I'm wrong or whether you're wrong. I was sat in the living room with the dog, minding my own business, giving Gio the respect he deserved at the time because it was a one-to-one hangout. Right? But you think that I'm wrong, lying, dishonest? Okay. You're called out, Sean. Do it. Let's see.
FE Core has threatened the lawsuit. Mike Cavanaugh, president of FE Core.
See, now that just shows that Sean doesn't know the difference between body corporate and the individual. FE Core, as far as I'm aware, has not done anything at all. Sean just doesn't get the difference between the legal person and the individual and the company.
He's made Anthony Riley a member of FE Core, which means that he is now legally responsible for things that he says.
Why would you think that? No, Sean, you don't understand the difference between body corporate and an individual. If I say that Manchester United are the best football team in the whole wide world, do you think that reflects the views of FE Core? No. Don't be a moron, Sean. Do you understand the difference between legal personalities or not? Obviously not.
Big mistake. Yeah, it's a lull suit, but if this can actually get FE Core shut down, Ivy Blankmanship, when it comes to libel, it's not about damages except to reputation.
So at this point, he's talking about damages and loss of reputation, right? But his intent is clear. If it can get FE Core shut down, well, I don't know any legal remedy anywhere that would allow a company or would force a company to be shut down as a result of, quote, being wrong. It's just going to be a legal action. So it's not going to get FE Core shut down. I don't know why you think that it might do, because it's just nonsense, Sean. You don't know what you're talking about. Again.
And since they actually held a hangout, Anthony, Ranty, Nathan, I believe Quantum Eraser was there, and they're basing all of this information on faulty information from Mike Cavanaugh to send people to my channel to literally plaster my channel.
Yeah, that's because you're wrong, Sean. We did that to make you aware that we were all talking about you. We were demonstrating that you don't know what you're doing at best, or you are lying, dishonest, and you deserve everything that comes your way, Sean, because you do. You are a liar. You are telling lies. Geo Strieber did have Soundly in the background somehow, and he did bleed through his microphone. Everybody can see it.
With, you're a fraud, you're a scammer, you're a liar.
Yep, that's because you are.
So yes, it is defamation and libel.
Oh, really? What happens if it's true? Does that make it defamation and slander, or does it make it fact? Because let's be serious. One of us is lying, and I know what I was doing that day, and you don't. but you're the one that claims to be audio guy. And on your interpretation of what you think's happened, you think that I'm telling lies? Yet everybody else can see the graph and everybody else can tell without any interpretation whatsoever, once you know what you're looking at, which microphone played the sound.
So I am not going to wait for FE Core to bluff me into submission. I am actually going to start up a case.
Really? Well, I implore you, I beg of you to do that, Sean, because I want the truth to be out. I want to see your ass on the table in the middle of the courtroom telling the judge that, in your opinion, there's your evidence that says that it was my microphone. Because I want to see that. And guess what's going to happen when it does? You're going to look like a knob. Real bad.
So on Monday, after I get off of work, I'm going to start vetting out lawyers.
So today's Monday. So after he finishes work, I think he works in the late night, early morning shift. Might be wrong, but basically around about now, Sean should be looking for lawyers because he has just said he's going to sue, right? Okay, so let's see that, Sean. Find a lawyer. Doesn't really matter. They're all the same. They all do basically the procedure. You need the barrister that's important, Sean, or whatever it is in America that you need, because all the lawyers do the same thing. They get the matter to a trial. Well, do it. Let's see what you can do.
Yes, Jeroen, I am going to press a lawsuit against FE Core as an organization.
Oh, well, good luck with that, Sean, because we're calling you on that. Let's see if you can do it. You've said a lot of things in the past. You talk the talk. Now you're being called. So let's see what you actually do. Do it quickly, because this isn't going to get drawn out for weeks and weeks and weeks. Just get that first letter of instruction get sorted. Let's see that.
Which means everybody that's on the board will have to make an appearance in court in Indiana. I'm going to name Anthony in that subpoena.
Accepted.
To prove what they're saying is true. And I am going to present countersuit or counter evidence against their word.
But it's not against the word, though, is it, Sean? We've showed you the evidence. We've showed you that it's not our word. It's not our interpretation. The software does it for us. We showed you it on two different pieces of software. Can't remember what the first was called, but we showed it you on Audacity as well. And we showed you how to do it. You don't need to be a PhD to understand what that graph shows.
By going through this audio forensic center. I'm not going to sue for damages. I am literally going to sue for costs incurred.
Great. So you'll be paying for my plane ticket in the long run, Sean, won't you? I look forward to that, because on screen I've got the bill, like the price list and terms of service. Now, Sean claims that they won't do any work until they get instructed by a law firm. Well, this counts as work. You wouldn't be giving your price list out unless there was actual law-related stuff going on, proceedings. So I don't. Again, Sean, I'm going to call bullshit, because no firm would give you anything unless there were legal proceedings. If that's what you've been told, you wouldn't get this information, Sean. So I'm going to call bullshit once again.
And the reason I'm doing that is because this will have to be done through a GoFundMe, and the quote-unquote winnings will be sent back to donators. I'm going to make absolutely nothing out of this other than showing that FE Core is a lying sack of pile of shit.
Well, I wonder what FE Core have actually said that you make that out to be a lying sack of shit, because that in itself is a defamatory statement if you're wrong. Because even if you are right, FE Core haven't said anything, Sean. Do you understand the difference between Mike as a person and FE Core as a corporation? I don't think you do.
Sorry to interrupt. You can't simultaneously be a lying sack and pile of shit. You're either a sack of shit or a pile of shit.
But you have to distinguish between the body corporate, and the individual. So he's linking this to FE Core, right? So even if Sean's right, FE Core haven't said anything, Sean. Mike himself has said it. So you don't understand the difference between body corporate and personal. That seems to be the position. Just because he works for FE Core doesn't mean that he is FE Core. There's a distinction, and you don't understand it, it seems.
I'm going to make absolutely nothing out of this other than showing that FE Core is a lying sack of pile of shit.
A lying sack of pile of shit. Yeah, that'll count as defamation.
Yes, you can. You can sue somebody in America if they're lying about you. It's called libel, slander, or defamation of character, or a combination of those three.
Basically the same in England.
If they're defaming you, you can sue them, yeah.
Yes, they are defaming me. And thank you, Nana.
So they're defaming you. Really? What happens if it's fact? What happens if it's true? That would mean that all of your analysis, interpretations, slurs, lies, nonsense turns out to be false, Sean. It's not illegal to say something that's true, is it? So I'll say it again. You're a liar, Sean. You don't know what you're doing, and you're trying to propagate a lie that is GeoStreamer was not having a hangout in the background and the bleed came from me. That is a lie. Either you're incompetent and don't know what you're doing with audio forensics, which is probably the case, but I think that you're actually lying because I think you do know what you're doing, and I think you're deliberately obfuscating the point and muddying the waters. So I'm going to say it again. You are a liar, Sean. What are you going to do? You've said you're going to do something. Do it.
They are defaming me, and they're actually committing libel under the malicious category because they had their nice little hangout where they told their viewers to come to my channel and call me a fraud, a liar, a shill, and all the fun stuff.
Sorry, can I
As soon
just
as they
interrupt
did
again?
that-
Sorry, Anthony, to interrupt. So I encourage all viewers to go to Sean Hufford's channel and label him a fraud and a liar and a cheat. Also encourage him to file his defamation claim. That's all.
That's what I was just coming to at this clip bit here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the one that I want you to respond to, which would be this one, history. It's the one that's got FE Core in its name. So about FE Core, what I want you guys to do in chat, I want you to go to his FE Core video, and I'm going to put in my first comment here now. So I'm going to say, Sean is guilty as sin. So what I want you guys to do, if you think Sean's guilty here, and you think that Sean's lied or got this wrong or whatever, and you agree with me that you think that GeoStreamer was having a hangout in the background with Soundly and playing, I want you to go to his channel right now, and I want you to put underneath my comment, Sean is guilty as sin. However, if you think that the other version of the facts is true, which is that the noise that you heard, which was Soundly, if you think that actually bled through my microphone because I was listening to a hangout and it just so coincidentally happened to sound like a contemporaneous, coherent conversation back and forth with GeoStreamer or Soundly, and it was a fluke, then I want you to put in his chat, Sean is innocent, free Sean. But everybody should go to his channel, and on this thread underneath mine, don't add it as a new comment, put it underneath mine so he sees it. Either Sean is guilty as sin, or go in and say Sean, free Sean, or Sean is innocent, free Sean Hufford. Let's just see what the feeling is in chat, because basically he's trying to fire bullets now, and I'm happy with that because I want the truth to come out. I want to see what the law says. I want to see what the experts say. I want to see what the truth was, but I also want to see what Sean does when he gets proven to be wrong. So he's either incompetent or he's lying. And I'm going to say that he's lying because I think Sean knows exactly what to do with that audio analysis, and he's deliberately hidden it. He swept it under the carpet. So I'll come back to that again at the end. Please go to Sean's channel and put them words in underneath my comment.
They publicly tried to defame me by committing libel. So it falls under the malicious category. They can't claim libel per se.
It's only malicious if it's false. It's absolutely true, and we can prove it. So we're looking forward to what Sean's promised, because Sean said he's going to go today. He's going to find a lawyer. Not hard to do. They're all the same. Pick any. Doesn't really matter. Let's get that letter of instruction sorted, Sean. Let's see what you've done today.
Yeah, they can file a countersuit all they want, but they are getting sued. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this at this point.
So he's on about they being FE Core. Really? Good luck with that one, Sean. Let's get your instructions. Let's see you do it.
Yeah, we had a nice lengthy conversation.
Now he's talking about this guy. He's talking about this company called Audio Forensic Center in San Francisco. And he's talking, apparently, he's had a conversation again. He always seems to get right to the top, Sean. He has an ex parte hearing with a judge outside of the courtroom, he claims. And now he claims that he's been speaking to this PhD guy. Again, I'm going to call bullshit. He's probably spoke to the receptionist and asked for a price list. And he's totally misrepresenting it. So I'm calling your bluff, Sean. I think you're full of shit. So let's hear what he says now about this guy.
All I did was tell him that I've got 2 people that were involved in a hangout. There was background audio being played, and I told him what analysis I did to figure out which participant was playing the hangout.
Yeah, total subjective interpretation, right?
He agreed with my methodology. He agreed with my assessment. He did say that he would have liked to have gone over an FD or FFD, which I absolutely don't have a clue what the hell he's talking about, but he said the FFD would have verified it conclusively.
Well, if he agrees with your method, I want to see him put that in writing. I want to see him sign that off, and I want to see that get presented to a judge in proceedings, because I don't think he's going to do that, Sean, if he even said it. I don't think he's even said it. I think you're full of shit. I'm calling you out. You're a liar.
So I can't give an estimate of how much the crowdfunding is going to be for, but know that FE Core is going to be sued.
Bring it on, Sean.
But is it too late for FE Core to back out? Absolutely not.
Is it too late for Sean Hufford to back out? Yes.
But I'm not going to let them. I'm moving forward. I'm done with their fuckery.
Yeah, and we're done with your lies. So you're challenged, Sean. Put your money where your mouth is. Get a firm of lawyers instructed. Let's see that you've confirmed it in writing that they're now instructed to deal with this. I'm calling you out, Sean. You're full of shit. You're telling lies, and you are propagating you are hiding the truth. It's called perverting the course of natural justice in the criminal law in the UK. That's what you're actually doing. GeoStreamer was having a hangout. GeoStreamer was being fed. I did not have a hangout. I was sat like a good little boy in the silence, being respectful to my opponent. And you're the one that's pushing the lie. I note that GeoStreamer is surprisingly and suspiciously quiet. He hasn't said anything. Wonder why that might be. Is that because you're behind it and you're making it get obfuscated so that it gets swept under the mat, Sean? Well, you're being called. You've said you're going to do this today. We expect it to be done, and we expect to hear from you immediately. Let's not drag this out after hangout after hangout. You want to do this no matter what, do it.
I'm done with them making up bullshit and people swallowing it wholesale without even questioning it.
Oh, but there were you so wrong, because I've done nothing but question them. I've questioned every aspect of them. I've questioned what does it show, what doesn't it show, how strong is it, can it be refuted, how strong is the evidence. Sean, it's been challenged. I challenge everything. I challenge Nathan, I challenge Quantum Eraser, and I've challenged Mike. And I've checked to make sure how strong this evidence is, and the fact that it validates on 3 separate programs and the correct technique is being used is, you can't dispute it. So you're going to be the first one that loses that guy's company's first ever case, or you're just lying. And either way, you're not going to do anything, Sean. You're being called. Get it done.
They're going to have to answer for their fraud.
Ooh, so now you're saying FE Core are frauds? Really? Well, again, let's see what you do, Sean, because you're the one that's claiming all the big I am, telling everybody how you're going to do this and that and the other. Let's see you do it.
And like I said, all you got to do is go to my very first video and look at the comment section.
Which is what I'm going to remind people in chat to do in a sec.
Everybody there is calling me fraud, scammer, liar, and just a whole lot of vitriol.
Yeah, that's because you are a liar, a fraud, a scam artist, and a whole lot of vitriol. You deserve it, Sean. You are hiding the truth. GeoStreamer was having a conversation. I was not. You're hiding it. GeoStreamer is surprisingly quiet. So as we get towards the end, we're now going to finish by going back to your channel and adding more comments.
That was a direct result of their hangout, because they were telling people to go do that. That is libel with malicious intent.
Only if it's wrong. If it's true, if it's correct, if it's a fact, it means it's fair. We're allowed to do it, Sean, because we're the ones with the evidence that proves my microphone wasn't doing anything. You're the one that's got to try and persuade people and go and do all your legal funding. Go and do it. You're being called out, Sean, and I'm going to reassert my position that you're a liar, that you're a sneak, that you're trying to hide stuff and slur me in the process as you try and tell all your subs that you're audio guy. No, you're being called out. Go and do your legal stuff and give it your best shot. Let's get this sorted. It's up to you now, Sean. Let's wait, see, and enjoy, because I'm going to enjoy watching you get pulled down in front of a court of law.
Yeah, and he'll be taking GeoStreamer and Soundly with him. Do you want to drop from Skype and join on the Hangout, Anthony?
I just want to push this last point here. Please go over to his channel and put in what you think is on my comment. So Sean is guilty of sin, and also make sure that you tick other people's comments, even if they're negative. Just get some momentum on this because he deserves it. Sean is guilty of sin. This was not my microphone doing anything. I was being good. So please go over and put either Sean's guilty of sin or free Sean apology. No, just put Sean is like not guilty, free Sean or whatever, because I want to see what the feeling is, and I want him to see it as well.
And don't be tight. Be sure to watch his advert. So he needs all the funds he can get. Be sure to watch his advert.
Yeah, watch his advert. I don't mind promoting this because I want to raise awareness. The stakes are getting higher now, and it's no longer about whether or not the Earth's flat or not. It's about whether or not someone's telling lies or whether someone's telling the truth. And I know what happened that day, and nobody else does. But what we can prove is which microphone did what. So please go over to his channel, find my comment, and put in it either Sean's guilty of sin or free Sean because he's innocent. That's what you need to do. I'll drop.
Cool. I've popped the link several times into the chat, so hopefully people who are watching have done that already. You'll see. Have you two both vanished completely, Travis and Chocolate?
Oh, I'm still here.
I'm here.
I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think it's important on account of the fact that we've got a situation where GeoStreamer, as much as everybody has said in the past, we know they're working as a team, we know they're feeding each other in the background. Now we've got evidence of it, and when we've got evidence of it, what have they done? Have they admitted to it? Because it's only a minor misdemeanor, who cares, you know, so Geo Deceiver looks a bit stupid. Other than that, they could have just admitted to it, but rather than admit to it, they stay true to form and behave in the same way they behave when they debate us about globe Earth versus flat Earth, which is they lie continually, try and cover the truth, double speak their way out of it, and bluff in this instance. So in doing so, it's like, no, we've got absolute cast iron, solid evidence, and why wouldn't we hold them to account for this? They hold us to account for much less. So we'll hold you accountable for this, Sean, and you're going to bring down GeoStreamer and Soundly in the process, because you're essentially, by defending them, saying, oh, no, there's nothing untoward. GeoStreamer's not being coached by Soundly. Yeah, he is. Absolutely he is. We all know he is. Everybody who's watching this knows he is. Even the people that are on your side know deep down that he is being coached by Soundly. And how do they know? Because we've got a bloody recording of it. We've got a recording of him saying, can you give me this information? Is it down here, right? Yeah, and go back to that definition he cites too. It's a contemporaneous conversation between the two of them. It couldn't be more obvious. It's just unfortunate for Geo that he's let it slide or let it slip through a crap microphone that he's bought. He's bought a cheap headset that bleeds. That's why it's happened. No other reason. Not because Anthony's playing a hangout in the background, but that's where Sean comes in to muddy these waters and literally fraud them out of it. Deceive the audience, deceive everybody, and put blame on Anthony. Now FE Core. Okay, push it as far as you like, Sean. We're encouraging our audience to go and get you to file your claim as soon as possible, especially as you've said you're doing this today. By the end of today, I'd expect you to have done it and to be informing your audience, especially if you're gathering money from them to do this.
Yeah, I agree. I want to know what the opinion of Chocolate and Travis is, if you're prepared to voice one. If you're not prepared to voice one, it's cool, but I'd like to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Soundly was being do you guys think that Geo was being fed by Soundly based on what you've heard? Or do you think it's a fluke and a coincidence and it was being actually played by me, but it just so sounds like a fluke?
Well, that would make you an incompetent imbecile.
Yeah.
You know, to be playing something like that. And I mean, I agree. At the base, right? At the base. If you get caught doing something, just fess up, man. Just say it. Yeah, I was doing that. Because right now, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
let's be honest. If it was me, right, and I mean, I got the full court thing wrong. I got the wrong bloke, right? I had to just take the bullets for it and smile because it was my own mistake. Yeah, all right, I deserve it. I deserve it, right? But they've not done that. What they've done is they've pushed this and pushed it and pushed it, and now it's getting serious because these are lying. And this is a really, really good opportunity for people that are in flat Earth to prove that these guys will lie, deceive, and they will literally defame, slur, cause as much nonsense as humanly possible in what they're trying to just literally. I don't know what their intention is other than just to be dicks.
To deceive the world. The Earth is obviously unobservably flat, and every single instance that they have that they claim is proof of a globe is a begging the question fallacy on acid. It's unbelievable the amount of lies these guys tell, and it's about the nature of our reality, which is why I take this so seriously. I was asked the other day, why are you so passionate about this? It's because we've been lied to on a monumental scale, and these people are the perpetrators of that lie. You know, if it's system-based and it's just through indoctrination, that's still no excuse. You know, we've explained the fallacies, we've explained where they don't have any evidence, and what are they prepared to do? They're prepared to defame Anthony rather than concede. And in this instance, it's the fact that they're having to be mischievous, deceitful in their approach to defending what they claim is truth. So to defend truth, you need to lie and cheat? No, that's not what people who are defending truth do.
Chocolate, you were just going to say something.
Nah, I'm just gonna say that it's funny to me that this audio guy said that he guaranteed that he was gonna find proof that you were lying, right?
Yeah.
He's audio guy, you gotta love him, all of that, but no proof, no evidence, all this time, right? And instead of just coming out and saying, all right, look, we messed up, sorry, and let's just move forward. Now he wants to take you to court.
No, he doesn't want to take me to court. What he's doing is, Sean loves to hate me, right? And I'll be honest, I love to hate him too. But what he's doing is he's trying to propagate what he thinks is a slur of his character from me. And let's be honest, it is me that's done it. But now, because Mike's helped, somehow he now thinks that Effie Core become the deer in the crosshairs. And I'm like, what planet are you on? Even if you
when
really
he's
dreamed of
talking
it,
about legal action, so what he's talking about then?
well, he wants FE Core shut down. He said his words were, "If this can get FE Core shut down, well, it can't. Even if they were guilty of anything, it's not going to get FE Core shut down. It's a train."
But this is what I'm talking about. This is the extreme he's going to go to. Like, instead of just proving that you were wrong, which is what he guaranteed that he was going to do, he's going to do all that now.
Well,
like,
no,
it's just so suspect.
No, he's telling people that's what he wants to do, or that's what he's going to do. But that doesn't mean he's actually able to, because even if he's,
but I'm saying, like,
right.
just the fact that his mind is going into that direction. Like, dude, you got caught. Just come out and say you got caught. It's okay.
They never back down, though, do they? So this is part of the reason why it's being pushed, because they never ever admit any fault. Ever. They never ever admit any part of fault. They will always, always, always deny it.
Yeah, because right now you really just sound like a bitch, man. I'm sorry, but
he sounds like a bitch at the best of times, to be honest. But he's got no excuse not to hold his hands up now. But he can't now because he's too far into it. He's not going to hold his hands up now and say, "Do you know what?" But what he's trying to do is call my bluff or call Mike's bluff. And at the end of the day, you're the one now that's saying that you're gonna do it anyway. Well, okay, well, we'll invite that on. I will invite that on. I'll encourage you. Everybody in this hangout now will encourage you to do it. Bring it on, Sean. Let's see if you can persuade a judge about this audio guy stuff. Let's see if you can get it. Because I want to know whether you're claimed expert, and I'm sure he probably is. I want to see whether he'll sign that paperwork off. So I want to see it. Bring it, Sean. Let's get it done. No messing around. Go and get your audio guy sorted.
Just for the benefit of the chat, this show is absolutely live. I don't know why anyone would assume this isn't live, but there we go.
Yeah, and if you want to come in and just tell us what your opinions are, do you think that it was my recording, or do you think that it was Sean obfuscating the truth and trying to make it out as though something else happened instead? Was it my recording, or was it GeoStreamer's recording?
It was so blatantly obvious that it was a conversation. Like, it's anybody that's got two neurons left in their brain can tell that it's a conversation between two people. Like, why even bother to lie about it?
I think that even Tommy will understand that conversation that was played was a coherent back and forth between two people that were in a hangout of some kind themselves. Tommy, do you have a view, sir?
I came in quite halfway through what you were saying.
Very quiet.
Yeah, you're dead quiet.
There we go. Check. Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
a lot.
Just before you do, sorry. Hi, Unbelievable. Sorry, Tommy. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Hi, Unbelievable Productions. How you doing? Can you hear us?
I think he might be a placeholder.
Hello.
No, he has a mic.
Everyone's really quiet today.
Unbelievable, are you there?
He's fiddling with his mic. I'm pretty sure he's a friendly. My bad, Tommy. You go ahead.
No worries. I came in halfway through your presentation. I didn't get the whole thing, but from what I see, you've got everything that you need to put your case forward in court. I think I came in the point where you said that there's certain points that he's going to prove you wrong on, and you're willing to stand up for that and challenge him on every aspect. And the fact that his mic was crackling, something leaked the fact that he was being fed information, and you've got everything you need to in order to win that. So by you calling him out and calling his bluff, we'll show who's being honest or not. It sounds like you're coming from an honest point, in my opinion.
I mean, I remember the hangout. I don't remember whether or not I had music playing in the background or not. But what I do know is that I certainly wouldn't have a hangout being played in the background of Soundly. I don't watch Soundly's work. I've seen his bridge stuff, but overall, I'm not a fan. I don't follow. I've even got him blocked, apparently. But the point is, I don't remember exactly whether it was absolutely silent or whether there was TV playing in the background or music or whatever. It could have been. But I know that I wasn't playing a Soundly hangout or a Sean hangout with Soundly in it or whatever combination that they want to come up with. And that's the allegation, that I had the hangout playing in my background and it was bleed through on my mic. Well, we can now prove that whose microphone that bleed came from. And he wants to see it dealt with. I want to see it dealt with because I want to show that Sean Hufford is a liar.
Okay. You asked me yesterday if what it was that turned us, though. I mean, that's what came today to speak to you about that. Because I listened to the hangout yesterday, I just went on a mad tangent as usual.
Right, slow down speaking a little bit and move closer to the mic because you're dead quiet.
Okay, check. Yes, is that better?
Yes, a lot better.
You asked me yesterday what turned us, and then I went off on a tangent as usual. Sometimes I need to stop myself or just start babbling.
So well, I asked you what turned you. You did answer it. Then you went on a tangent. You said you're not turned yet. You're an atheist. Did you say
agnostic?
Yeah. So does that mean that you are? Is that an admission now? Or does that mean that you've realised and you've become a flat earther, or does it mean that you're still on the fence?
It means that for what we've been told as curvature, and like you said, the curve calculators and all the phenomena that's supposed to suggest towards curvature could actually be explained by the perspective, and it could actually be explained by, as objects get further away, they shrink and then they disappear from bottom up, and then that's because of that illusion. Everyone else has been fooled to think that it's curvature that's covering it, when in fact it's just the way that works.
Well, actually, it works. There's another bit to it. If you look at that particular mountain, that Mount Rainier, I went back after the hangout to look through the maths on that to see exactly where the sleight of hand was. And what it deals with, and what that Mount Rainier does is when he deals with the angular size conversion and he puts it into a degrees, that needs to be reconverted back into feet. But what he does is convert it back into pixels. But the problem with the pixels is you don't get the height reference to it. You just get it relative to pixels, which is not useful. It's the only way. Well, it's not the only way. It's the way that it's been presented in the article to try and persuade you that someone else can explain this. So therefore, it's
like the magic trick, the little blind spot that they're getting people on.
Well, the blind spot is that your target, as a result of distance, as a function of distance, gets smaller, and that's the bit that the curve calc does not deal with. So you have to then substitute extra maths into the curve calcs to allow for the thing getting smaller as a function of distance. And what that article does is it does allow for it, but it presents it in a way that makes it sound, well, basically it's not useful to you because it measures the pixels. But basically that mountain is going to be a few 100 pixels on the horizon. Then you apply your hidden to it. So your hidden at that distance is basically that mountain disappears on a ball. Shouldn't be seen. But we see all of it.
That's not the magic trick, though.
That should be completely disappeared. But
that's not the magic trick. Sorry, I've got to interrupt. I'm really sorry, Tommy. That's not the magic trick, though. So the magic trick is the begging the question fallacy. So if anybody ever says to you, well, if we're on a ball, the moment they say if we're on a ball, we're already on a ball. And if they already know how big that ball is, well, you already know you're on a ball and how big it is. So why bother going forward and testing anything? We've already know we're on a ball. If we're on a ball, and that's how they phrase it. If we're on a ball with a radius, then X. It doesn't matter what they say from that point on. As soon as they do that, it's a begging the question fallacy. So the fact that they can make the maths work and hijack perspective, for me, is kind of irrelevant. Yeah, we went down it so that we made it clear to anybody who might fall into this trap later by debunking every step of this begging the question fallacy. But for me and others who I've discussed this with, they've made it very clear this is a pointless exercise because they're just begging the question. They already put you on a sphere and know how big it is. So you don't need to prove anything. Just prove R. There you go. You're already on a sphere. So give us how you got R. Because there's R. You're already on a sphere. And what do they tell you? Oh, well, we get it by assuming R and measuring the horizon or whatever they do. So it's a begging the question fallacy on steroids. And it always will be.
That's what happened with my mate last night, because I told him, showed him the videos, and not the flat earther, but another friend of mine, and he was like, "I can't believe you've been convinced. I can't believe you've let them get to you." And I'm like, "It's not about letting someone get to me. I'm just being open minded on both perspectives. I'm looking at it from a flat earther's perspective, and looking at it from the baller's perspective, and then I can look at the two, which one's more intellectually honest, like you say, or more critical thinking." And I goes to him, "Well, have you actually tried to find out the whether that it's curvature of itself?" "Oh, I don't need to do it." "Oh, no. And I was literally he was behaving in a defensive manner, exactly the way that I'm seeing, like, for example, Joe Rogan and that Eddie guy. The way that he's saying, "Have you looked into it? Have you looked into it?" And Joe Rogan's just going on about, "I don't need to look into it. I've got all these pictures, and look, there's all this, there's all that." And it's like, it's the same behavior that a person would be making, and I'm like, oh my god, you're acting the same way I did, but I looked into it. You haven't. That's the difference. Have you actually honestly looked at it? And his answer is, "I don't need to." And it's like, then that's when you think, shit.
The thing is, I've done numerous observations of my own, and I've done my own research, and it satisfied me that we see way further than what we should. Now, that only needs to happen the once for you to question it, right?
Yeah.
But when you see some elements of obstruction at the horizon, of what looks like curvature, what they tell you is curvature, and you're looking at what is clearly a reflected mirror thing that's upside down to the thing above it, and they're telling you that's the curvature, and basically, if you accept that, then you're going to believe that what you see, the mirror reflection thing at the horizon, will be the curvature, but it isn't. It should be obstruction that cuts it in half, and it's not the obstruction caused by a mirror. It's the obstruction that's caused by the water. Now, most people are happy with the lie, but ultimately, you do your own research and you realize that we can see further than what they tell us every single day. I go past one particular landmark that I shouldn't see. Every time I go past it, if it's clear enough, it's a clear enough day, I can see it. Now, I'm never seeing it like lower or higher or being loomed up from it. It's either there or it's not.
And the problem I'm having now is that now I've had this one thing where I'm thinking, you know what, this is could be a magic trick. This could be the curtain pulled over my eyes. This could be a lie. This is something that they've give us some information, that whoever they are have given information on it. Now, is this going to be leading to another lie and another lie and another lie? And I don't personally want to be that Eddie Geezer. I don't want to be going like all fucking pulling my hair out like, this isn't real. This is bullshit. They're lying to us. It's not getting my tinfoil hat on.
On the other hand, I don't enjoy being a flat earther.
Exactly.
It's not fun.
Oh, God.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The community spirit is unreal within flat Earth. But against the outside world, people in chat right now that'll call me every name under the sun. I don't really enjoy seeing it. It doesn't really bother me, but I don't enjoy it. So it doesn't really cause me a negative, but it definitely doesn't give me a positive. But then when you speak to people that are not online and not in Hangouts and like you're private with them and just talk, it's unbelievable. And there is so much evidence that's nonsense. I mean, it's like one of the housekeeping questions is, how can you have a gas pressure next to the vacuum of space without a container?
Yeah, this is another one, yeah.
And that's really impertinent, because if you look at your picture now, your spinning globe, all of the black around your spinning globe is vacuum. So the vacuum has to suck that atmosphere off. Unless it's in a container of some kind.
But apparently the vacuum doesn't work the way that flat earthers presume it to work.
So it defies the second law of thermodynamics. So I'd like to see the explanation for that, because entropy, when you've got such a differential, is a bitch. It does it immediately, like an explosion.
Which, look, I mean, I haven't gone through all these. This is another thing. I'm not going to make that mistake again where I'm going to start defending stuff that I haven't looked into. But it's like now, because I've looked into the curvature and now I've seen an explanation for if we can see the curvature from that 130 mile to Mount Rainier, and then you elevate yourself, you won't, you're not seeing over the curvature would disappear. The whole Earth would then, I'd expect it to all flatten out. But if that's a lump that I'm looking over, then why can't I just see that kind of lump when I'm going up? Because that lump completely disappears. So it shows me it's not a lump I'm looking at. That's something to do with, that's something else. And that's what the phenomenon is that you're explaining.
Sorry, Anthony, just let me, Anthony, sorry, bear with me a second, Anthony. I'm glad you've used the terminology you did. So you said the hump. Well, there's the sleight of hand. So you started off by saying, well, you go out looking for curvature. And then you very quickly realise that you're not actually looking for curvature when they get you to beg the question and presume are. What you're actually looking for is obstruction. Now, obstruction isn't curvature, but that essentially means there's a hump. Now, that's a big problem because you're on the top of the ball. Gravity says you're on the top, right? So what hump? You're just looking down from the top of the ball.
Point. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's completely. It's just mad how you think that. That's how it's supposed to be, and then when you actually try to argue it and actually try to put it through, you think to yourself, that isn't what it's supposed to be. But you got to actually try and you got to actually step out and actually try and research it, haven't you, to realise that? But people won't do that because they automatically know, and when you already know, you shut yourself down from learning anything more from that position you've already claimed to know.
Well, here's a good one for you, right? You've got your spinning globe, right?
Yeah.
On the heliocentric model, there's something called the Coriolis effect. Or the Coriolis force.
Left and right clockwise and anti-clockwise.
Yeah, and the idea is that the Earth spins, but the atmosphere doesn't. So you got like slippage in the atmosphere because the Earth's spinning, but the atmosphere is not. That's why snipers, and if you go and speak to a sniper, they'll all say they correct for Coriolis or they allow for Coriolis. But if that's the case and the atmosphere is not spinning, then it should be the case that you could take off in a helicopter, remain where you are, and the Earth would then pass underneath you for you to then land without you moving. It doesn't happen. If you go up in a helicopter, stay where you are, and then come back down, then you don't move.
This is where the Globers will lie to you, and they'll tell you that the atmosphere is carried along with the Earth. Now, if that is the case, then there is no Coriolis effect. So the Coriolis effect is defined by the fact that if you put it into a simple example with a roundabout, you're holding a ball, you're sat in the middle of the roundabout that's spinning around. As you throw that ball, from your position on the roundabout, as you continue to spin, the ball looks like it curves. It's not really curving. That's the Coriolis effect, because it goes into a second reference frame, the atmosphere, which is not going along with the roundabout. The air's not turning with the roundabout, but that's what they'll claim. Oh, the atmosphere is carried along with the Earth. Well, then there's no Coriolis effect. So they'll double speak you and give you explanations. And when you try and dig even deeper, you say, well, how is it carried along the Earth? It's an open system next to a vacuum. It gets even more farcical.
Yeah. George Netanyahu about 2 weeks
Hence
ago.
where we was arguing about it.
Yeah, I mean, George Netanyahu 3 weeks ago came in and he had 3 back-to-back hangouts where he was trying to argue how Coriolis works on a sphere and then how the contradiction doesn't really contradict. And each time he gets cornered and he starts mumbling and shuffling his words. And basically, if you watch it in his hangout, it's a joke. Dave Shaw.
Hello.
Yo.
All right.
Good to have you.
Put the ball down, man.
What's your name? Dave. Good to have you, Dave.
Sorry, say that again?
I said good to have you.
Oh, okay. Can I chime in on this Coriolis stuff?
Sure.
Okay, so, like what Riley was just saying about, if you lift a helicopter, the ground should move under you, right? That was your point?
Yeah. Well, depends on which. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, go on.
Well, the thing is, the argument that seems to come from flat Earth people is the idea that, well, if the Earth is moving, then I should just lift myself up, and the Earth is going to move under me. And if it's not the case, then the Earth is flat or whatever. You know that line of thinking that's generally put out there, right?
No, it's not. Nobody puts.
We're not arguing that it's flat by using that point. We're saying that there's no Coriolis. It's a contradiction.
What we're saying is the Earth is not spinning because otherwise there would be a Coriolis effect, and it's not in the stationary setting. There's still the Coriolis effect with other things like merry-go-rounds. That's how we know it's there. But it's apparently not there on the Earth, like when you shoot a bullet or you travel with a plane. There is no Coriolis effect displacement.
Isn't the Coriolis effect affected by magnetics?
No, it's purely motion based. All of it.
It's an inertia. It's an effect of inertia.
No, it's motion. It's relative motion.
Yeah.
Motion in relation to another motioning or non-motioning object.
So you don't think it's an effect of inertia?
It's motion based mostly.
It's about inertial frames of reference. Anyway, I've got it up on screen for the audience. I'm sorry you can't see it in the Hangout. I've just dropped it on one of my tabs that's presented to the actual audience. But you've got two different positions. The actual ball, which is absolutely once released travelling in a straight line, and then you on a spinning reference frame watching it appear to curve. Now this is analogous to the Earth and the atmosphere. If you fire a bullet, the Earth continues to turn underneath, and the atmosphere is the second frame of reference, causing the Coriolis effect to happen in the first place. So if you scale up this example, you've got a roundabout, that's one reference frame that's turning, and then the air the ball travels through. That is the second reference frame. And if you stay on the roundabout, in other words, you're standing on the Earth which continues to turn, you will appear to have a curved motion of the ball because you're rotating on the reference frame underneath the ball that has been released that does travel in actuality in a straight line. So if you scale that up and say, well, in our example with the Earth, the atmosphere travels with the roundabout, well, then you only have one reference frame. If the air is travelling with this roundabout, then there is no curved motion because you only have one reference frame. So the ballers' explanation for this is completely false. What they're saying is, we don't have a Coriolis effect on Earth. That's essentially what they're saying when they avoid this by saying that the atmosphere travels with the Earth. Well, no, then you don't have a Coriolis effect.
But they still love to reference the whole bullet deviation.
It's just it's obfuscation, though. It's trying to muddy the waters so that you're not sure.
It's an outdated story.
Yeah,
it's very simple, but they keep repeating it, just like, oh, the boat go over the horizon. It's just they can't get the baseline kiddie fairy tales out of their head because they memorized it so lovely.
I agree with Nathan. I think that this was designed before powered flight because it's only a problem with planes and helicopters. Other than that, you can kind of imagine it and it makes sense. But when you put a plane into the picture, the Earth should spin underneath you and the atmosphere should be stationary. It's that simple.
Yes, momentum.
What's the situation on like the International Space Station coupler? Is that just CGI to you guys or
what?
Yeah, it's completely fabricated. It's like a set. It's like Coronation Street. They make it in a set. It's not done in real world.
So
it's a combination of things.
Yeah, it is a combination. Green screen.
There is the water tank for the astronauts. There's a little model for just astronautless. More full screen pictures of the ISS with the Earth behind it.
Have you seen
and
the tour of the?
There is there's still diving plane footage, and there is the CGI attempt to basically have a more long-term gravityless environment, which is very sloppy. So there's like 4 different types of setups being used.
Yeah, how do I put this
overlapping?
In the Hangout? Yeah, there's a link in the Hangout. That's what I'm trying to say. This is like a half-an-hour tour of the International Space Station. This is one of the things that convinced me that
Who's meowing?
Stop. This is one of the things that convinced me I needed to stop looking to Flat Earth about a year ago. And I watched this and I just saw. I looked. There's a halfway through, in about 15 minutes, they go into the coupler and they have a look at the Earth, and that's when I was like, "Damn! Like I'm wasting my time here." And I stopped looking into it. And obviously, now getting back into it. I'm actually changing my position. I'm thinking, well, what's this? Is this another magic trick of theirs? Do I not believe everything that I'm seeing now? Do I have to quit? You know what I mean? Like,
I got put off by the International Space Station.
Sorry?
The ISS put me off. It was Red's rhetoric that put me off the scent for a while because he managed to successfully use my own evidence against me. And if you can do that, that's a really persuasive position to take. But I realized that whatever's going on with the International Space Station, it's a construct that they've got a model that fits, but doesn't make it true. We can't validate it. We have to trust that what they're telling us true, but we see ropes and strings that are being holding people up, and they expect to tell us that they expect us to just accept that that's just the way it is. No, I don't accept that to be credible evidence at all. No, it's nonsense.
So I'm going to do a quick plug for a channel called Dillygill, Dillyggill, who has essentially taken the current real-time CGI mapping and backdated it to how they actually achieve the effects that they do. So necklaces and bubbles of water, and also the way they fake the people on high wires that are doing the ISS filming. So that's Dillygill. Check out his videos. His most popular one, I think, is called The Shuttle is a Zero-G Plane. That's probably the quickest way to find him, or just type in Dillygill, Dillyggill, and check out his videos. In the meantime, I'm going to say a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, probably because you're a big supporter of Sean and his lies and fraud, then you know what to do. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!